In a recent piece on X, I stated that people are genuinely unaware of what is going to happen in this market. Higher, much higher, is all I can say. Many individuals now believe that I was engaging in engagement farming, and some even claimed that I had no knowledge or sources to support the idea that we ought to be trading at a much higher level. However, the problem is that we have practically all of the information we need to know that we ought to be trading much higher than we are at the moment. For reference, I had to publish another piece in which I stated that anyone who was asking me if I had any evidence to support my statements must not have been paying attention for the previous few months. Let me remind them, the supply of M2 is soaring to record highs, with significant deals, money market funds at record highs of over $7 trillion on the sidelines, institutional players' rapid embrace of cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin's dominance approaching macro resistance highs. The trade war is slowing down. According to Google Trends, stocks in Bitcoin are just a few inches away from reaching all-time highs, but retail interest is at its lowest point ever. The August 1st deadline for crypto rules is being accelerated. Growth in tokenization and stablecoins is vertical. This year, old coin ETFs are also anticipated, with alt season serving as a key signal for those ETFs. The simplest explanation is that people don't understand why or how we might be trading higher. I could go on to list a lot more reasons why we will be moving much higher. You were just not sufficiently bullish. What's remarkable about this is that despite the fact that the market capitalization of cryptocurrency is at $3.29 trillion and Bitcoin is at 107.4K, everyone is wondering if we will be seeing greater prices. At the same time, fear and greed are at a neutral level and hardly anyone is interested in cryptocurrency. The last time I looked, hardly nobody was interested in cryptocurrency since around December and January of this year, since we've been moving in a different direction for the past 5 months. Thus, everyone's interest in cryptocurrency has somewhat diminished. They are no longer on the hype train, you know. Therefore, cryptocurrency has suddenly become awful. Oh well, forget about it. It won't accomplish anything, despite the fact that Bitcoin dominance is still near macro resistance highs. We're most likely just going to drop from here and enter a bear market. For this reason, I have consistently stated in the past that the majority of retail will miss the majority of these cycles. Just before the finish line, they are shaken out. It's also depressing. However, that is the reality. This is also the reason I've previously advised against letting anyone tell you that you're lucky. It's not luck, that's why. It's difficult to make money in this field. Due to the high levels of volatility, price capitulation, and time capitulation, liquidations and manipulations occur frequently. Trading in this market is not simple. However, that is precisely the reason we are also present for the huge swings and volatility. Ultimately, I do think that in just 30 days, practically all of these values in this market will seem very different. Give it a month. It's hilarious when it comes to XRP because it has been acting in this way for the past few weeks and months. We have simply been moving sideways in a downward trend based on the April lows. We are now beginning to construct what may be a macro high or low. And I wonder if anyone is truly prepared for what's going to occur next. because XRP is going to have a big breakout if we start to see Bitcoin hit a new all-time high and if we start to see Bitcoin dumps really kind of decline. And I'm not merely referring to returning to its $3.40 peak, no. I'm referring to XRP prices of at least $5 and possibly as high as $10. As I mentioned earlier, the majority of people don't even believe that this year is feasible, but you know what? When we returned here in October, when XRP was trading at less than 50 cents, no one believed that it could be trading at $3.40 in January. In this industry, things can happen extremely quickly. It is the main factor that makes this market so appealing to retailers. It is our main motivation for being in this market. Everything happens really quickly. Furthermore, we are now beginning to hear a lot of discussion from the industry around how XRP might be replicating this bullish trend. This comes from CoinDesk, which generally opposes XRP. The bullish pattern that was previously observed in Bitcoin before it soared to over $100,000 is being replicated by the market XRP. With a technical signal showing indications of stabilization, the price action has remained stable between $2 and $2.60 to find negative momentum. According to some traders, this might be the beginning of a significant upward trend. In early March, the MACD became bearish, indicating that the price was likely to decline, but it stayed largely unchanged. The MACD is now beginning to calm off, albeit it still flashes red. At the same moment that the weekly chart displays price MACD divergence, XRP is trading between $2.18 and $2.20. Following a notable wick to the downside, we are now seeing that dull sideways price action. I definitely believe that there is a lot of upside potential for XRP. That being said, I believe it has a huge impact on many aspects of this market, including the majority of the altcoin market. At this point, Bitcoin is likely to start to become a little monotonous. People will keep requesting 200,000, 300,000, this, that, and so on. Really, all Bitcoin needs to do is reach 150,000. As long as Bitcoin's supremacy is significantly eroding, 150,000 is perfectly acceptable, since altcoins will go completely insane. For comparison, Bitcoin has hardly changed over the past 7 days. In fact, it's up 2.48%. However, ancient coins actually saw a spike in the last 7 days as a result of dominance dropping by just 1 percentage point. Old coins are up more than 50%, whereas pies are up roughly 16%. Earlier yesterday, several of these antique coins, such as syrup, were up almost 20%. They are currently cooling off a little, but it is only a percentage point on Bitcoin, which has moved